Okay. It's nice to meet you all in this wonderful afternoon along with Dr. Sivakumar for this Hello Bell program. Okay, so I think Dr. Sivakumar has given you a wonderful introduction about the entire Lean Six Sigma process and the importance. Okay, now as he told earlier, we are going into the first step of the DMAC process: define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. In that, the D stands for define. Okay, so before going into the process, Lean Six Sigma phase, so it's a small introduction about myself. I am Dr. S. Ravikumar, and I have done my master's in engineering as well as in management, and I have done my doctorate in industry in coal handling, bulk material, uh, equipment, design manufacturing industry. And as told by Dr. Sivakumar, I am a Lean Six Sigma black belt, and I am doing a lot of training for guys you like this along with Dr. Sivakumar, thanks to him. Currently, I'm working in Crescent University in Chennai, Vandalur, in Chennai. Okay, and I have a lot of experience in teaching as well as in industry, and I have worked with a lot of national as well as international clients throughout the world, and I'm doing a lot of publications also. That's a small introduction about myself. So it's a nice opportunity to meet you all on this wonderful Yellow Belt training program. So before going into the defined phase, see what are the main purpose of this defined phase, objectives. We are going to see what are the objectives of the defined phase, and all phases in Lean Six Sigma process are combined along with some steps. Each phases will have steps to follow. This is the first phase, defined phase. So we will see what are the objectives of the defined phase, why we have to do this defined phase. Then the steps which you have to follow. If you want to attain those objectives, we should follow certain steps. So we will see what are the steps you have to follow. Then if you want to attain those objectives and implement those steps, you need to use certain tools. Okay, don't imagine that like spanner or vernier like that. We don't use tools like that. We use abstract tools. Okay, some analytical tools. So we will see some design define phase tools. And finally, you should know what is going to be the outcome of the define phase. Before going for any phase, before going for any process, we should be able to know what will be the outcome. So if there is an objective, there must be an outcome. So all these things are going to be highlighted in this first 4 or 5 slides. So before going into the defined phase, let us, all of us are aware of Dr. Albert Einstein. Okay, he's a famous scientist. Okay, who is one of the key persons behind the development of the uh, nuclear bomb, which was blasted, which was exploded in Second World War. Okay, which brought the entire Second World War to the end. So he said something important about defining the problem. See, he said, if I have 60 minutes to solve a problem and my life depends on it, I will spend 55 minutes to define the problem. So see the importance of the defining the problem. See, if he has 60 minutes to solve a problem and his life will be spared if only he solved the problem, then in that, on such a situation, on such a critical circumstances, he will spend 55 minutes defining the problem. So if the problem is well defined, then you will take only minimum time to solve it. That is the theme behind this particular command or code. So if you are able to find out the problem, if you are able to identify the problem, if you are able to define the problem clearly in a crispy manner, okay, in an understandable way, then you will take very less time to identify the solution for it, to solve it and get the success out of it. That is what it emphasizes. So what are the chief objectives? What are the main objectives of the defined phase? See, first, we are going to identify the project of importance. See, in defined phase, we are going to identify the problem. To solve that problem, you have to do a project. That is core purpose of any industry oriented activity. So if there is a problem, then we need to do a activity, set of activities. That set of activities is compiled together and set as project. So if you want to solve a problem, you have to do a project. So first you need to identify which problem is of most importance and what project has to be done to solve it. So first, I may have a lot of problems in my organization. So some from production department, from quality control, from purchase, from logistics, okay, from painting shop, okay, from inventory. I may have a lot of problems to solve. So I have to identify important one to solve. So identifying the project of importance, then understanding process boundaries, timelines, and customer requirements. Without understanding the process boundaries, without understanding the USL, LSL, okay, control limit, you cannot execute the project. You cannot do the project. First, you need to understand the process boundaries within which you have to do the project. Then the timeline. What is the time frame available? You cannot do a project for a long time, for an entire period. So, for example, if you take a, if you are learning this Lelobel program, the Lelobel program is just for 3 days or for 4 days, 4 hours a day. Everything has a timeline. So you should be aware of the timeline of the project which you are going to execute. Then important thing is all the projects, all the components, all the services being done for customers. Customers are a goal. So you need to know what is the customer requirement. Without understanding, without knowing the customer requirement, you cannot do the project. If such a project will be a utter disaster. So it is always you understand the customer requirement, the customer need, how to satisfy, how to delight the customer. Then finally, the main important objective is developing a project charter. This project, we will see about this project charter in detail. So no need to jump into any conclusions. No need to ask doubts now. Yes, we are going to see the project charter and how to develop a project charter. What is the importance of project charter? Everything will be explained in the coming slides by myself. Okay, so you should remember the first and foremost objective is to identify the project. Okay, then understand the requirements in process boundaries and timelines. Then important thing you must remember is project charter. You are going to develop a project charter. That is the important document, very critical document which will help you to find, which will help you to record each and everything that you have to do, that you have done in a systematic manner, in a procedural manner. So these are the objectives. So how to achieve these objectives? For that, we need to follow certain steps. First, you need to generate project ideas. If you want to do project, you need to generate project ideas, right? That is, you need to identify projects. Okay, so for example, I have one problem in the cycle time is more. So how to reduce the cycle time? For that, you can do a project. The inventory cost is more. How to reduce the inventory? For that, you can do a project. Okay, the quality, the scrap is more. For example, the wastage is more. The way the cutting, cutting waste. For example, in fabrication industry, they used to cut the 1.5 into 1.2 size plates. The cutting waste is more during cutting plan. How to reduce it? You can generate a project idea. So like that, in step one, the initial step is you have to generate project ideas in the defined phase. Then I have 10 project ideas. I have to select the project. Okay, I need to find a method to select the project. I have 10 ideas. Which one is going to give my customer, which one is going to improve my profit? Which one is going to reduce my cycle time? Which one is going to reduce my inventory? Which one will satisfy my top management? Which one will satisfy my customer? I have to give priority for certain criteria and select the project on that particular circumstances. Okay, then I can, once I have done this, I can go ahead and finalize the project charter. That is a living document which is going to hold all the details relevant to the project. Okay, and along with that, you will be having a high level process map. Okay, so now I am going to ask you a question. Okay, we will speak at the end. Okay, so first we saw the objectives, then we saw the steps involved in the defined phase. Now, as I told, if you want to achieve those objectives and execute those steps, you need the help of tools. Project charter itself is a tool. So the project charter will help you to, the project charter is going to provide you information about the goal of the project, the target of the project, and the resources available and all the information. Then Kano model is another important, wonderful tool which will help you to understand the customer requirement. See, customer requirement is not an abstract thing. It has to be understood in a proper manner. For that, you have a tool called Kano model. This Kano model is a wonderful, excellent tool. It is a graphic. It can be represented in a graphical manner also. So this will help you to understand the customer requirement in a more acceptable way than SciPac. It is a high level process map. So which will help you to understand the flow of process in the initial stage of the project. So in the initial stage, the project team may not be able to understand the process. For that, you need to know what are the process that is available in the particular organization. Then only you'll be able to move the project easily. So the SciPac will help you to understand the process and the boundaries and scope. What is the scope of each process? What is the scope of each activity? Okay, it will help you to understand that. Then we have perfect chart, prioritization matrix, CTQ. See, all these tools, affinity diagram, run chart, tollgate tree, all these tools will help you to achieve those objectives and through proper execution of these 3 steps. So at the end of the define phase, you will be able to select the project using the tools and the methodologies which you have done. Then you will be having an approved project chapter. What is an approved project chapter? You will be having a project details, the document which is approved by the top management as well as the financial sponsor. The financial in charge must approve. The financial manager, the financial officer, he must approve it. Then only will be having sufficient fund, sufficient cash to execute the project. Okay, then a high level process map. So these are the outcomes of the defined phase. In the defined phase, you will have a approved project. You would have selected a project. You will have a project charter in your hands. Okay, a document which is approved, which is signed by the top management, which is a hall ticket for execution, which is a approval to execute the project. Then you will have a high level process map, which will help you to understand the scope, the steps, and the process involved in the particular process which you are going to do the project. Okay, so now, so what are the objectives of this defined phase? Any one of you? Yes, what are the objectives of the defined phase? Gentlemen, any one of you can answer. What are the objectives of the defined phase? Yes, are you there?
Sir, identification of the project,
Okay, very good.
then selecting of problem,
Okay, identification of project of importance. Then, okay, try, give a try. There is no harm in giving a try.
So understand the process boundary.
Yeah, very good. Understanding the process boundaries and developing a
Project charter.
project charter. Okay, then what are the steps you have to follow? Steps you have to follow? Yes, without knowing the steps, definitely you will be losing the way on the half. So you should know the steps.
generating project ideas.
Yes, very good. Generating project ideas. So you have a lot of problems which you have to solve. Out of which you have to choose which one you have to solve through a project. Generating project ideas. Then, so you have a lot of project ideas. Then what you have to do? You have
Select.
to yes,
Select.
yes, you have to select project. Which project you have to execute, because that project must give growth to your company, growth to your organization, profit to your organization, or it must create some customer satisfaction, or it must improve the performance of your process. Okay, so you have to look for projects which will help to do that improvement to your company, to your organization. Then finally, a document.
Developing project charter and process map, sir.
Yes, very good. Developing project charter and process map. Project charter is an important document. Okay, it's like a ration card. Okay, it is going to live throughout the project, and even after that, it is going to be a permanent record to the organization. Okay, we will see about that in the coming slides. Okay, so that is how defined phase has to be executed. Now, the first step, you have to identify project. You have to select projects of importance. How to do this? So before going to select the project, you must have certain knowledge about certain things. That only will help you to select the project. Okay. So what is the prerequisite? We used to say that using a terminology called prerequisites. Okay, for example, if you are going to be selected in a quality control department, they will demand you to have certain knowledge, right? If you are going to be appointed as a quality control inspector, they will demand that you know how to do quality control checks, how to do quality control checking process. You should know about certain quality standards, right? For example, a student who is going to join engineering institution, the prerequisite will be he should have completed the higher secondary. That is, he should have completed some 12th standard or some pre-university courses, PUC. Then only he will be allowed to join in the college. Likewise, before going to step one, project identification, you need to understand certain things that that will help you to do the project identification process easily. So what are the prerequisites? Prerequisites are understanding the strategic goals and policy deployment. See, you should be able to understand the strategic goals of the company. Okay, the company strategic goals of the organization and how the policy deployment system is working in that particular organization. Without understanding the strategical goals and policy deployment system, if you start doing a project and if your project goal, if your project target is not in alignment with the strategic goal, then the project end will not be appreciated one. So then the top management will not appreciate your project success. And apart from that, you should know how the policy process works, how the what kind of policy is being followed in the company. Then only you'll be able to do the project accordingly. So understanding the strategic goals and policy deployment system of the organization is an important prerequisite. Okay, all organizations will have different strategic goals. Some organization strategic goals will be always focusing on customer requirement, customer satisfaction, and their policy process will be they will be following a standard, okay, like ISO, and the policy deployment system will be following such a standard process, standard quality management system. So you should have a very good understanding about that. Then only you will be able to identify project according to that. Then important thing, your efforts must be in alignment with your strategical goals of the organization. See, if the effort which you are providing, the effort which you are putting, if it is not in alignment with the organization's strategical goals, then the entire effort will go in vain. The entire effort is waste. Okay, so entire effort of the team. So you'll be having a black belt, green belt, and yellow belts for doing a project. So all the efforts by the team members will go in vain. To avoid that, you should make sure there is a proper alignment. Okay, along with the efforts and the in line. There should be a proper alignment between your efforts and the organizational strategy. Then important thing is you have to understand the business process, core business process, which is taking place inside the organization. Without understanding that, if you are trying to execute a project, then the project will not move to the next. There will be facing a lot of hurdles and barriers. You won't be able to overcome those things easily. So you must understand the core business process. So the important thing is you must understand the organizational strategic goals and the policy which is being run inside the organization, and you must make sure that the improvement efforts which you are providing must be in alignment with the strategy of the organization. Then we should know what is the core business process that is happening in the organization. Then only we'll be able to identify the process correctly, identify the project correctly. So if a project has to be in alignment with the requirement of the organization, you should know this. If you doesn't know this, then definitely the project which you identified may not provide success to the organization. It may be successful to your personal achievement, but it may not be successful to the organization, so that the organization may not appreciate you or recognize you for doing such a project and putting a lot of effort. So you make sure you understand these things before identifying the project. Okay. So as I told, what is understanding the core business process? See, understanding the core for IR, let me give a small example. See, for example, a company may have this following process. This is a level one core business process. For example, market research. That is one department, concept generation, widget development, process development, and order fulfillment. End of the life, the end of the process. See, this is top level, core one level business process. Okay, these are the various process that is being done in the organization, level 1. Okay, so now let us take one of the important core business process, order fulfillment. That is executing the customer order. How this order fulfillment will be done? See, for that, we have to receive the order. For example, if a customer has given me order to supply 1,000 radiators. Okay, first we need to receive the purchase order, then we have to send it to the product. We have to schedule a production with the workshop department. Then we have to make a schedule for that. Then we have to, after making, we have to prepare shipment. Then we have to ship that particular product. Then we have to pay the suppliers for the raw materials. Okay. So a single core process will have so many sub process. So if we doesn't understand the sub process within a core process, we won't be able to identify the problem correctly and we won't be able to do a project properly. So first we should understand the core business process that is happening in the organization. Okay, so then we have to identify the sub process for each core process. Okay, so here we have to pay the suppliers. These are all different sub processes. Each sub process will have so many activities, work steps, procedures involved in it. Receiving order is also having so many sub activities inside it. So, for example, let us take one sub process, paying the suppliers. So, for that, we have so many work steps. See, we have to get the invoice from the supplier for the raw material. For example, supplier is sending some pipes for 50 meters. Then we have to receive the invoice from the supplier. Then we have to make sure that the invoice is a complete one or it is a part invoice. Then we have to make sure that the particular supplier is present in the database. If you are following a SAP or ERP, then we have to make sure that the particular supplier is added in our database and he is a recognized supplier. Then we have to check the taxation terms and conditions. Nowadays we can say it as GST. Okay, then we have to check his address details and all. Then we have to check their authentication details. Then we have to approve for auto payment. Then we have to enter that payment details in our log also. Then finally the payment details can be mailed to the supplier. So we have taken one core process, and in the one core process we have taken one sub process. Each sub process is having so many activities below it. So if we are able to understand this sub process, core process and activities, we will be able to identify the project easily. So identification project will need you a core business process understanding. Okay. So it is very important you know the strategical goals and the organizational goals. Okay, after that only, and after understanding the core business process only, you will be able to identify the project clearly. So once you have attained that prerequisite, that is identifying, knowing the project goal, knowing the organizational goals, and knowing your goals of alignment, knowing your tactical goals, knowing understanding your tactical goals are in alignment with the organization goals, and understanding the core business process which is happening inside the organization, then you can go for project identification and selection process. See, in project identification, we have the following steps. First, you can go ahead and review the strategical plans, goals, and targets. Okay, then you can compare the actual target with your the target which you are focusing. Okay, for example, if I want to reduce my cycle time, okay, from 6 hours to 5 hours, okay, you should compare them, whether it is organizational target or a departmental one or a functional one. You have to compare it. Then identify the level 1 and level 2 process and the work steps. So you have to identify the level 1 process which you are going to do the project, and the level 2 sub process where you are going to do the project, and the various work steps which is being executed as a part of the level 2 sub process. If only you have a very good knowledge, if only you are able to identify that, you'll be able to identify the project properly. Then you can go ahead and select the project using brainstorming, okay, or prioritization ranking. Okay, so first we need to review the goals, targets of the organization, and we should review the strategical plans of the organization. Okay, and make sure your efforts are in alignment with those things. If your efforts are not in alignment with company target or organizational goals or your firm's strategic plan, then there is no use in executing the project. So make sure all your efforts are in alignment with the company's requirement, organizational need. Then the second important step which you have to do is compare them with the current existing uh, output and the target which you are going to fix. Then you have to identify the core business process, okay, so that you'll be able to find out the problem and find out the problem and identify a project easily. Then if you have a lot of projects to execute, select them using a professional approach like brainstorming, project prioritization method, or Pareto analysis. There are so many tools for that also. So this is how you have to do the project identification and how you have to do the selection process. So now in the defined process, we understand what we are going to do. Just a moment, there is. Okay, so this is how you are going to start the design process. Okay, sorry, start the define process. Okay, so this is an important part of the define phase. So further, if you want to select the project, if you want to identify the project, how to find out that project? How to identify the project? What is the steps? What is the process available in Lean Six Sigma to identify the project? See, first and foremost thing, any total quality process focuses is about customers. Okay, so the voice of customer is the important thing which will help you to identify the project. Okay, followed by critical to quality. See, the voice of customer and critical to quality process will help you to identify the project, identify projects of importance, identify which area you have to focus. Okay. See, the voice of customer are just some comments or statements or some words, okay, given by the customer, okay, during a survey or during a interaction or during a chat with the marketing executive or a customer care executive. Okay, so the voice of the customer can be received from the customer directly through any one of the process, any one of the surveying methods. Okay, but this critical to quality, it is a measurable element. See, we got this voice of customer. We have to convert that into CTQs. What are CTQs? Critical to quality. We will see about those things in detail in the coming slides. So if you want to identify a project, okay, we have to make sure we have the voice of customer recorded in a proper manner. That voice of customer, which is recorded in a proper manner, should be converted to a metric that is called critical to quality metrics. Okay, for example, if the customer says, okay, it's taking too long. For example, your company is supplying, is having a customer. The customer saying that you are taking too long to supply the products. So supply time is more. Okay, what is the supply time? The normal supply time is 7 days. Now you are taking 10 days. So the critical to metric is a measurable element. You convert the voice of customer into a measurable element. Okay, that defines the customer satisfaction. So if company is taking 10 days to supply 1,000 products to the customer, so customer is not happy. So customer says your supply time is more. That is simple statement from the customer side. That is the voice of the customer. You convert that into a CTQ metric. That is, what is the time taken? It takes 10 days to supply 1,000 products. Customer is not satisfied. So this is what is the reason for that. You can keep on finding out the reasons behind that. But this is the initial stage. You convert the voice of customer into a measurable metric so that you will be able to work on it. So see, once we got that kind of CTQ can be achieved through this kind of voice of customers can be received through so many reactive sources and proactive sources. What are the reactive sources? For example, So through social media pages, through complaints, okay, through problem solving customer care lines, okay, through direct customer calls, okay, through increased or decreased business. For example, if a particular customer is coming and purchasing in his company again and again, that means he has a very good rapport. He has a very good reputation thinking about our company. That is why he is coming and purchasing the products again and again. Suppose the customer who once purchased a product is not coming to a company again, then what does it mean? So it means our CTQ is not good. Okay, our supply time is more. Our supply time should be less. Then only the customer will come and supply the product. Our cycle time should be less. Then only be able to supply the products within time. So we will be able to identify this voice of customer through reactive sources and proactive sources. So the voice of customer can be converted into CTQ. This voice of customer can be received either through reactive sources or through proactive sources. What are the proactive sources? Through direct interviews. Even before the customer is using a product, you can go ahead and ask him to fill up a survey form, or through direct sales executive visit, or through marketing research, or through benchmarking process, or through dashboard. So many options are available to receive the voice of customers. Okay. So, for example, there is a simple statement in the screen itself for you to understand the voice of the customer. See, one of my friend is went to visit the doctor. He said, "See, I don't want to wait too long." So, how to convert that into a critical to quality metric? The patient waiting time. My friend doesn't want to wait too long. Okay, you can say, I doesn't want to spend too much time on travel. See, for example, you are going from Delhi to Noida. You can say, I don't want to spend too much time on travel. Then traveling time. Okay, so you want to reduce the travel time. So this is how you can convert the voice of the customer into a critical to quality. Okay, so your manager can say, scrap percentage is, there is a lot of wastage. Then the scrap percentage is more. Okay, or the rejects is more during a particular shift. So you have to convert the voice of customer into a critical to quality metrics. The critical to quality metrics is a measurable data, but the voice of customer is a immeasurable data. Okay, for example, take this same one. Say, my friend says he doesn't want to wait to see the doctor. Then patient waiting time. So the what is the time he is ready to wait? He may be he is ready to wait for 10 minutes, but he doesn't want to wait for 30 minutes. So this CTQ is a measurable metric, is a measurable data, but the voice of customer is an abstract data. So first we need to capture this voice of customer through reactive or proactive sources. Then we have to convert that into CTQ, and from the CTQ, you'll be able to convert that into a measurable metric. And using that measurable metric, you will be able to identify whether you have to execute a project for that particular CTQ or not. Are you able to get me? See, yes, guys, are you able to understand me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in project identification, VOC is very important. Voice of the customer is very critical, very important. Because all the total quality management process focuses towards the customer satisfaction. That is the ultimate of the 21st century. So identifying the customer voice through reactive or proactive sources is an important thing. And the next step is you have to convert that into a CTQ. So next, you'll be able to use the VOB. Once you can first you can use the VOC, that is voice of customer. Next, you can use the VOB, that is voice of the business. Okay, that is the complaints of the manager, the complaints of the various subordinates and the intermediate hierarchy levels. All these people be able to give you the ongoing problems or the losses that happens during the process. Okay, so that is VOB, voice of the business, purely business. For example, I think we have slides. Okay, VOB, what is that? See, for example, let us take a small statement. Say, customer payments are pending for the past 6 months. finance manager gives a statement like that. The customer payments are pending for the past 6 months. See, that is a UOB because the customer payment should come in regularly. Then only the organization will be able to run without any customer cash crunch. Okay, they will be able to purchase the raw materials. They will be able to pay the employees in time. So this is the voice of a business. Okay, so likewise, we should also able to identify the voice of the business also. That can also help you to identify the project which you can do. Then cost of poor quality, that is process defects. Now we are into the process. Cost of poor quality. What is this cost of poor quality? See, for example, if a product is rejected, we have invested time, money, human efforts, manpower, everything into that product for developing it. Suppose if the product is rejected, then it also bears a cost. For example, if 1,000 components are manufactured during a shift, if 10 components are rejected, if the cost of 10 components are 100 rupees each and 1,000 rupees, that is cost of poor quality. Okay, so we need to do a cost of poor quality analysis also to identify the projects. So the voice of customer, voice of business, voice of cost of poor quality, all this will help you to identify the project. Okay. And after identifying all this, you can list down the potential problems. Okay, what is potential problems? The problems which is going to create lot of loss or lot of customer dissatisfaction, or which is going to hit the turnover, or which is going to uh, reduce the orders, or which is going to have a hit on the sales. All these are potential problems for the company. So you can list down the potential problems. Okay, and after analysis, you will be able to select them. Okay, we will see how to select them. So for project identification, VOC, VOB, and cost of poor quality. All this will help you to identify the project. Then critical to quality tree. So actually, you will see that with an example. Okay, so that will be easy for you to understand. Actually, both are same. That is a base one. This will help you to, this is an example for that. So now we will see how to convert a VOC into CTQ. See, for example, as I told, my friend says, uh, I need good service in clinic. That is the voice of the customer. My friend wants to go to a clinic. He says, I need a good service in clinic. So what does he mean by good clinic? As a Lean Six Sigma expert, we need to identify that. Okay, that means it should be a timely one. That is, he should not take too much time. Then the task must be effective. That is, he should not spend more. Then what does the correct time? What does the timely means? That is, the waiting time should be less than 5 minutes, and the consulting time with the doctor should be more than 10 minutes. That is what he thinks in as a good service. Okay, in a clinic. Then when it comes to cost, the consulting fees must be less than 500 rupees. And suppose if anybody gets admitted, it should be bed charges for such admittance should be less than 2,000 rupees per day. So if a customer says he need a good service in clinic, it means he needs a waiting time and the consulting time in the following manner, and he needs the consulting fees and the admittance fees within this range. So this is how we need to convert the voice of the customer into critical to quality metric. So when it comes to voice of customer, it is less specific. Okay, it is hard to measure. You cannot measure a voice of the customer, and it has less detail. So that is why it is called as less specific. And when it comes to CTQ, it is more specific because you can see what is the waiting time my friend wants. My friend wants to wait just for 5 minutes only. He cannot wait more than more. So now the hospital administration, they know they cannot allow a patient to wait for more than 5 minutes. They can allow any patient to wait for just 5 minutes only. Because if a patient wait for more than 5 minutes, they will be irritated, they will be dissatisfied. So they can arrange a system like that. Then they must make sure the doctor speaks with the particular patient for around 10 minutes minimum. then only the patients are happy, satisfied. Okay, so now the hospital administration has more specific details like waiting time, consulting time. Then the it is easy to measure. Okay, the CTQ is always easy to measure. Now you know 5 minutes. Okay, you can check what is the current actual waiting time. Now the actual waiting time is 10 minutes. Okay, so we have to reduce it less than 5 minutes. So it is more specific and easy to measure. So that is how VOC can be converted into CTQ, and from that we will be able to identify projects. Suppose if my waiting time is more than 10 minutes, I can do a project to reduce the waiting time. Okay, likewise, you will be able to identify project easily. So this is another example. Okay, just actually my I need a good quality car. What does it mean? Customer says I need a good quality car. He will simply say it is difficult to understand, less specific and hard to measure. Can you measure anything from this particular statement? No. Then what are the drivers? What are the commands? What are the factors behind that good quality car? In the sense, the performance must be good. Then the budget, that is the cash which he is investing, the amount which he is investing must be within a particular range. That he expects a mileage of more than 15 kilometers per hour per liter, and he wants a good pickup speed. This is what the customer means as performance. Then the budget must be within 8 lakhs for the entire car, and he wants the maintenance cost of less than 8,000 per year. So if a customer means he needs a good quality car, he focuses on these two drivers. It is just an example. So this is how a Lean Six Sigma team can understand the customer voice, and they can convert that into CTQ for identifying the project. So if your product is not giving more mileage, you can check whether you can do a project on that. Okay, if you, for example, if your car price is more than 8 lakhs, you can do a project to reduce unnecessary components and reduce the price than 8 lakhs. It is just an example. So likewise, we can convert the VOC into a project, into a CTQ, and then from the CTQ, you'll be able to identify which project can be done. Then when it comes to cost of poor quality, you should know about the failure cost. See, cost of poor quality occurs due to failures. So the failures are the scrap, the warranty claims, and the rework which is done in the company. Okay, all these things cost the company. So what are the costs behind it? Engineering time, the time which is involved to design, and the management time, the overheads, management overheads. Okay, then the downtime, the inventory, the particular product is stored in the godown, so inventory time. Because of the scrap, there is a decreased capacity. And apart from that, customer satisfaction. And because of customer satisfaction, poor satisfaction, sales declines. Okay, and because of that, there is a loss in the customer trust with the particular brand. So a failure cost like scrap or warranty claim or rework of the product will have a lot of uh, charges hidden behind it. All these things will be hidden behind it. That is the great loss to the company. So this is the cost of poor quality. Okay, so when it comes to cost of poor quality, we have two categories. One is cost of internal failure, another one is external failure. When it comes to cost of good quality, we have prevention and operational cost. Suppose if you want to reduce the poor quality, okay, we have cost of good quality. How this cost quality itself have a cost. Quality itself costs something. So either we have to invest in good quality cost, or we have to bear the poor quality cost. What does this good quality cost means? Prevention and appraisal cost. What does this prevention and appraisal means? See, so the activities which we are executing to prevent the poor quality, like vendor evaluation. For example, if you are not evaluating a vendor and giving him an order, he may give an inferior raw material. So the product which is manufactured from the inferior raw material may be a poor one. So the customer will be dissatisfied. The project may be rejected. So first, we have to do a vendor evaluation. It may take some time. It may take some money, and somebody has to go visit the vendor site and evaluate him properly. Then only this kind of poor quality costs can be avoided. So these are preventive costs. Then training and education. If a graduate or if a particular person is not trained properly and deputed without any training in a particular department, he may create a loss. So that kind of loss can be avoided by proper training. So these are all preventive costs. Any investment is done to reduce poor quality is termed as preventive cost. Okay, then appraisal cost. What are the appraisal costs? See, all of us who are working in the companies are aware of that. There will be regular audits. There will be regular calibration process. There will be regular procedure evaluation. There will be final product evaluation, intermediate product inspection. All these comes under the appraisal cost. So these are associated, these are connected with measuring, evaluated, or auditing the process or the product or the service while it is in process. Okay, so when a manufacturing process is under process, when the manufacturing process is under existence, you'll be doing a random check. Okay, for that also you need money. A quality control inspector has to be deputed, a quality control equipment must be there, quality control process must be there, standards must be there, he must be trained. All these things comes under the cost of good quality, cost of appraisal. This appraisal cost will help you to avoid poor quality products. Okay, so you should know, you should be aware of this cost of good quality and cost of poor quality. Then the internal failure cost. See, suppose when a product fails within the company premises itself. For example, some of you may be working in quality control department. You went to check the product in the manufacturing workshop. Okay, you go there and find a product is not within the range. For example, shaft must be 50 mm. Okay, Mr. Vijay Patel, could you please mute yourself? So the cost of, suppose, see, before handovering it to the customer, if a particular product fails within the company during the quality check, that is called internal failure. For example, a quality control inspector went to the shop floor and inspect a particular shaft. The shaft must be 50 mm in diameter, but it is 49 mm in diameter. So it will be rejected by the quality control inspector in the shop floor itself. That is internal failure cost. Suppose if the product reaches the customer, if the product reaches the customer and the customer is dissatisfied with the product and he goes for a warranty claim, okay, he goes for a replacement, that is called external failure cost. Okay, sometimes the warranty claim cost will be more. All of us are aware of Johnson & Johnson hip joint replacement warranty cost. They gave the customers billions of dollars. Okay, then that kind of cost which occurs once the product reaches the customer and the customer rejected the product, and because of that he may go for a repair or within the warranty period, or he may claim the money for the product. That kind of cost is called the external failure cost. So you will be able to select project, identify project from this kind of cost of poor quality also. So either you can go for cost of good quality like prevention and appraisal cost, or okay, suppose you cost from cost of poor quality, you will be able to identify the projects also. So there is a rule which can be followed in the organizations, that is 1:10:100. That if we invest 1 rupee in prevention, we will be able to reduce 10 rupees in correction and 100 rupees in failure. Okay, that is the beauty of this rule. That is, if you are investing some 1 rupee in prevention, that will help you to prevent 100 rupees in correction and 10 rupees in correction and 100 rupees in failure. So that encouraging the cost of good quality is always healthy for any organization. Okay. So this is how the prevention cost can help you to reduce the cost of poor quality. That is the external failure cost and the internal failure cost. The right side is before the cost of poor cost alignment. So if the prevention cost is more, then automatically it will reduce the external failure cost and internal failure cost. As a result of that, your cost of poor quality comes down automatically. Your scrap the scrap numbers comes down, your customer dissatisfaction comes down, okay, your inventory comes down, okay, so your profit will be more. So this is what investing in cost of good quality can do to your organization. So now we have found out methods how to identify the projects. Either you can use the cost voice of customer, okay, and convert them into CTQs, or you can choose from voice of the business, or you can use the COPQ, cost of poor quality, external failures and internal failure cost, to identify the project. Okay, now we have identified the project. How to select it? We can use a small tool called project prioritization matrix. Okay, we will see what is a project prioritization matrix and how this matrix is used, and we will see it with an example. See, the project prioritization matrix, okay, aims at identifying the correct project, okay, which will help the organization to grow. Very simple. Okay, so we need to do projects. We need to select projects which will help our organization.
Sir, Ravi sir, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Can we give them a short break because you are moving on to the next tool, prioritization?
Yeah.
So, project identification we have done.
Yes.
I think we can give them a short break.
Okay, sir.
Before going for the break, can we recollect the important points which Dr. Ravi has pointed out? Can I have all of you on video? Hello, Wells. So he taught you the first step, how to define your project. Can somebody tell me, how will you define your first project in your company? Suppose if you are a yellow belt or a green belt or a black belt and you want to identify the project from your company, what will be the tool you have to use? Can you tell me some tools which can help you identify your first project? Come on, please. We'll discuss many things. What is the tool you will explore to identify your first project? VOC. Do you know what is VOC? Voice of customer. Suppose if the voice of customer is is painful, is it not an opportunity for improvement? Definitely, right?
Yes.
Customer complaints or the rejection of your voice of customer is any statement in any platform. It's not necessarily the customer visits your factory and tells. No, it can be an email, it can be a survey result, or it can be a post in the social media, or it can be something written in your website, anything. For example, consider our training program. Right, our training program. One of you told me just before, sir, instead of giving 4 hours continuous, you keep it 2 hours into 6 days. That will be helpful. So that is an improvement opportunity. Am I right?
Voice of customer.
When I do it, my business will improve. Am I correct? When I don't do it, then this business will be same. So voice of customer helps you to improve your result. So one tool you can use to identify your improvement area is voice of customer. Is that clear? If I say it is voice of customer, tell me who is a customer. Now this program, Yellow Belt training program, tell me who is the customer.
We are participants.
All the participants are customer. Then who am I?
Product deliver. Consumer.
Then who is Dr. Ravi Kumar?
He is also consumer.
Ravi Kumar is also customer or is supplier?
Supplier.
He is supplier to you. But he may be customer to me. For example, when I called him for the session, he asked me, sir, when should I join? Then what should I deliver? He has certain requirement. Am I right? I have to tell him clearly when should he join the meeting and what is he supposed to teach. His requirements I have to provide, isn't it? Then only he can do his job. All of you are with me on this?
Yes.
Customer is not always end user. Now, who is going to give the certificate? Is it
Yeah.
is it the me and Ravi Kumar going to issue the certificate?
No.
Yes, sir.
Who is giving
Vision.
certificate for all of you?
Vision.
MSME, not Vision Excellence. MSME Technology
MSME.
Okay.
Center in Chennai. A government body is going to give you the certificate. Now, who is MSME now? Is it MSME also customer, or MSME is a supplier, or MSME? No, who is MSME?
So for us, it is a
He is your
supplier.
customer.
Very good. For you, it is supplier. I like the statement. But for us, he is
It is a
MSME
customer.
is an internal customer. Only when all of you fulfill the requirement, MSME will issue the certificate. Am I right? It's not that
Yes.
certificate is given just like that. You go through all the modules and demonstrate your capability. Maybe a test you will pass, and then only the certificate will be issued. So MSME has got a requirement to release its output, isn't it? So MSME is also a customer to us, but I will consider MSME as internal customer. Right? Anything between MSME and Vision may not be known to you. I call it internal customer, isn't it? But if some of you don't like our program, you write bad about us in a social media. Now that is very dangerous, isn't it? Because you are end user, and moreover you are external to the organization. Your complaints now damage my name. Now you are an external customer, you are also the end user. All of you are with me on this?
Yes, sir.
So listen, try to receive, try to record or document the voice of all these people, whether it is end user, internal customer, or external customer. If any of the voice is painful, that is your first project. Clear? If any of the voice is painful, in your company, there are 1,000 employees. 1,000 employees. All these employees may have a lot of problem. Am I right?
Yes.
Not their personal problem in the family, in the company. They will have a lot of problem within the company, right? Sir, cutting tools are not coming on time. Cutting tool, easily quickly breaking. Machine is leaking. What is this voice? Is it external voice or internal voice?
Internal voice.
Internal voice.
They are all your internal customers.
Internal voice.
Beautiful. So these are all internal voice from the internal customer. And if whenever you understand a pain in their statement, that is also your project opportunity. So what we are saying is identify the project from the voice of the customer, whether it is internal, whether it is external. Sometimes what happens, your management may also be not happy. Your management, your boss may be unhappy. Such a situation exists or not? Internal customer, external customer problem is one thing. The leaders in the organization will also have a problem. Possible or not? What are the problems which only the leaders will worry about? Can you tell me a few problems which the leaders will only worry, not the employees? All of you go to the company happily and come back happily. But few people know, they worry a lot about the way you are running the company. Can you tell me a few such problems?
Supply failure.
Supplier?
Failure.
Supplier failure. Okay. Okay. And suppose let me tell one point. Suppose if the lead cycle time of manufacturing or cycle time of production, you are taking more time. You're taking more time, right? And now who will worry about this cycle time? See, you are producing a lot of components, right? You are producing a lot of components, lot of products in your company. Do you really go to the depth of measuring the cycle time and worrying about it? Sometimes you may not, isn't it? The rejections are visible to you. That may be your concern. But certain things like, or let me go to a better example. Market share. Your company's market share is today only 10%. As an employee, do you like to improve the market share also? That is not your business. Am I right? Market share is a pain area for the leaders in the organization. Not every employee will worry. All of you are with me on this?
Yes.
Now, what is this particular voice? This particular voice is called voice of business.
Listen.
That is also an improvement opportunity. But voice of business generally, yeah, bigger problem. It's not that easy. Probably you have to be a black belt to deal the VOP related problem. But if it is simple, then green belt and yellow belt can do it. All of you understand the difference between the voice of customer and voice of business?
Yes, sir.
Yes. I want to improve the market
Yes,
share.
sir.
I want to double my revenue. I want to maximize my profit. These are all voice of business. These are all voice of business. But each and every employee, each and every manager may have a concern, technical concern. All of them are voice of customer only. But if the complaints come from an external source, anybody outside of your organization having a pain, anybody outside of your department having a pain, anybody who can damage your name having a pain is a external customer. You understand? Isn't it? See, Ravi and me are both are trainers here. We have a very good understanding. Suppose if Ravi can go to the extent of damaging my name, then he becomes external customer. Do you understand? We both are in the same organization, but if the customer is not within your scope, then he should be considered external customer only. Is that clear? See, one broader definition is customer outside of the organization, external only. Customer outside of the department, external. When I say outside of the department, he may be inside your organization. Am I correct or not?
Yes.
See, when you are in production department, your product goes to the assembly department. Suppose your products are not going, in a proper way to the assembly department. The assembly people directly take the matter to the CEO. Now your name will be damaged or not? So you must consider the assembly department as internal or external. Tell me, internal or external?
Now it is external.
Now it is external because they are raising the problem to the next level. If the problem is not getting raised to the next level, you have a chance to take additional time and solve it. But when the problem is rising to the next level, you don't have that much time. Then you have to be extra cautious. So whether the customer is internal, customer is external, or it is end user, all their pain areas are your project opportunities. Similarly, voice of the business is your project opportunity. And one more area where you get a project opportunity is cost of poor quality. Cost of poor quality. Give me an example of cost of poor quality. Yesterday we discussed. All your in-house rejection. Cost associated with the failure is the cost of poor quality. In-house rejection, rejection by the customer, isn't it? And deliveries, delayed deliveries, and customer complaints, and your warranty claims. There are so many things we have seen. Setup time, and all the wastages. All of them are cost of poor quality. We have seen invisible, invisible portion, and all those can give you an idea about what could be your project. And now you will have so many projects. Am I right? Is that clear? This whatever you have learned now, you must use to identify your project. Project identification tools and techniques. Tools are nothing but voice of customer, voice of business, and cost of poor quality. All right. So what we do is we stop here for your tea break, right? Probably 4:30 we will continue. And also you can ask your questions. We both will be happy to answer whatever he explained. Though it is theoretical, but there are a lot of important points in the session. Project identification. So you can ask it even after having your tea. All right. Your response is awaited to declare the tea.
Okay, sir.
All right. So 4:30 we'll continue.